Hi y'all, this is Kim-Jamy with JamyDoesYoga. So I wanted to give y'all a quick testimonial. If you didn't already know, I just finished my online yoga teacher training program, and I'm sure tons of y'all are getting advertisement and just different pop-ups about this yoga teacher training online or that yoga teacher training online, and it's a little bit hard to separate the signals from the noise, like which ones are really good. Is it going to be worth it? If you're anything like me, you probably have tons of questions, and so I actually wrote just some feedback and some notes about how yoga teacher training went and what are some things I really valued from it and took away from it, and what are some things that I thought were missing just because it was online. And so I have always wanted to do yoga teacher training. It was just one or two things. I just didn't have the money, or I just didn't have the time. And yoga teacher training on a normal basis is pretty expensive. It's about $3,000 or $3,500. And so it definitely costs like a hefty amount to pay for. And so, you know, since most of us are quarantined, I thought it was a really good opportunity to do online yoga teacher training. I had the time, and it was significantly cheaper than what I'm used to paying. Some advice that I have for y'all who are looking to do yoga teacher training is, one, it would be really helpful if you actually knew the yoga teacher trainings, like you've taken their classes before, or you know of them, or you just know, like you know and you love their style. That's really important because they're probably going to teach you their yoga style. And there's so many different yoga styles out there. There's Baptiste yoga, Ashtanga, Anusara, Forest yoga, Bikram yoga. So it's just so many different styles, and you want to make sure that you're teaching the one that you love. The second thing I wanted to mention is that it's really important to find a yoga teacher training online that is also in real time. And so I've seen a handful of yoga teacher trainings that are pre-recorded. They'll send you these videos, you watch them, and then you get your hours. And just for me, that's not the best way of learning. There's no real-time feedback. So in my program, we did an asana practice every morning, every weekend for 8 weeks or 9 weeks, or how many weeks we did it. And during this asana practice, my teachers would say, hey, Kim-Jamy, in your down dog, roll your shoulder blades down and back, or tweeze your shoulder blades together. Whatever the cue was, they would call it. And that way I could fix my alignment as I was going through it. And that was just so helpful. I grew so much. I didn't know some of the weird tics that I did with my body that I wasn't aware of, which is often I hunch or I pull my shoulders to my ears, kind of like, I'm going to do this. And so they actually in real time said, hey girl, your shoulders are to your ears, can you pull them back? And that was really helpful, and I don't think you get that real time feedback if it wasn't in real life or live. The other thing is that it's really important that your yoga teachers have taught before and they have that experience. My teacher trainers did such a good job with the different ways to teach and building our confidence and getting us used to using our voices in a yoga class and tapping into that authentic self. And so if you're interested in teaching, it's really important that you find a training that is geared towards teaching, and that your teacher trainers are very comfortable with digital equipment. And so I think that's where you want to strike a balance between, teachers or studios that have tons of experience but are also web friendly and digital, and they know how to convert their knowledge, their yoga knowledge, and be able to share that digitally. Because what that does is, I feel like my teachers were really good at teaching us how to teach, and they did a good job at implementing it through the web. And so I feel like I've gotten really good at teaching on Zoom or teaching digitally. And I'm really comfortable with what that looks like in this day and age with COVID-19. That being said, there will be a definite learning curve the moment we go back into the studio. And so that's just some areas that I don't have a lot of experience with because of the way that I learned and the way that I teach yoga, which is online. It is also significantly cheaper. If a studio is still charging you a bajillion dollars for yoga teacher training, I would have some questions. I think it should be discounted, just because you don't get the same. There's not the same overhead. In my opinion, there's not the same overhead. They're really just paying for Zoom and whatever recording device and the manuals that you might be getting, sort of that intellectual property. So I would assume that it would be cheaper because more people could do it too with, just more accessibility digitally. You can do it from your house. This is my yoga studio. Some of the cons with online yoga teacher training is I really cared about learning hands-on assist, and technically the Yoga Alliance has required amount of contact hours. They've nullified this for the coronavirus and the quarantine, and that we have to be digital. But I did really love like the tactile learning and being able to understand, hey, these are like appropriate ways to give hands-on assist that are healthy and safe and that are empowering for the student and the teacher. So I felt like I missed out on that. And that was one pretty big con of doing things online, because it's really easy to say things theoretically like, oh, you'll push down on this area. But in the moment, I think hands-on assists are very like tactile and physical, and you have to kind of learn kinesthetically. So that was a definite con and something that I'm missing out. But I would say that what I gained from it offset it, and there's opportunities for me to take workshops on hands-on assist later, and so it balances out. And for me, just the affordability of online yoga teacher training offset the fact that I didn't get to learn hands-on assist very well. So I hope this was helpful. If you like my videos, if you think they're just a little bit helpful in helping guide your decision, feel free to subscribe and like. I'm going to do other tutorials and other great videos, and so you'll have access to them. And then if you do have any questions about who I did my yoga teacher training with, and more detailed questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you. It sounded like a voicemail, but it's all good. Subscribe and like if you liked me. Bye, y'all.